Well, hello and good morning if you're watching us live. If not, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of the day it is. I'm grateful that you're here. Welcome to the Medium channel. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great time to be alive. Yes, it's a challenging time, but we get to be part of human evolution and we get to witness something that we have not witnessed in modern history or maybe any history of our species. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do our tarot thing. So we're going to do a three-card spread as a prediction or a heads up for the week for this community, as well as what's going on in the world around us. We'll do some angel cards, some medicine cards, and you talk about things that are going on in current events. And it was 2 weeks ago, in 2 Sundays ago, that I did the tarot and showed that the lull that we were experiencing in things developing in the news and all the chaos was about to come to an abrupt end, and that's what happened. So there's a lot to talk about. I'm gonna begin in just a minute. I just want to give the live people a minute or two to get on, and I'll say quick hellos, and I'll put my broken glasses on and so I can see that. So hi Sarah and Colleen and Colleen and Colleen again and Claire and Sarah again. And Cod Wake and or Cod Woke, I think, and Susan and Yvonne's and yes, all the inmates are here. All my fellow inmates are here. So thank you for joining us. And of course, are we coffee, tea, or caffeine free on a Sunday morning? I am drinking peppermint tea and green tea combined. So that's what my beverage of choice is for this morning. I got about 5 hours of sleep last night, which for me is right in my wheelhouse. So I'm in a good energy right now. I don't need a lot of caffeine. So, anyways, more people coming in. Hi, Chris. All right, people are starting to come in. So before we get into the tarot stuff, yeah, I wrote a few notes because otherwise it's like, what do I want to talk about? And I did this all this morning. Three things that kind of came up in my mind this morning. And one thing I've been hearing a lot about, and you guys probably have also, is about this whole thing with artificial intelligence, with interfacing human and nano, what they call nanotechnology. Um, and basically, there's this whole thing going on. I honestly, I don't know a lot of the details about it. I've been hearing about this for a while, but the idea is that we can be phased with computer or artificial intelligence, so we can kind of be I don't know what the right way of saying this or putting this is, but we can be basically part machine, part human. I mean, I'm thinking of the Borg from Star Trek, or worse yet, I'm thinking of Terminator. And the thing is, like, even if corruption and lust for power and control wasn't a thing at all, there's always a flaw when it comes to computer technology. There's always a flaw in the system. It's like there's like, when was the last time you bought a perfect computer or a cell phone? Like, when was the last time you had a device that had absolutely no glitches in it? And now they want to interface our DNA, maybe, or whatever it is that they want to interface with computers. Um, so a little bit of a heads up with that. You approach that with caution. It's going to be very tempting because this whole virtual reality and the metaverse and everything. I mean, personally, technology to me can be used or misused. I think it's a good thing, but it can also be a tool for control and power. And we've been seeing that in our society for a long time now. We've been seeing these trends. So what I'm feeling or what I'm sensing is the internet as we know it, I think, has about 3 years, if that, left. I think it's all going to shift to either the metaverse or some advanced form of the internet. This is going to probably, if not definitely, involve bio identification. So, in other words, when we are getting our medical tests or whatever, somebody may be getting our DNA samples also. That's the world that we live in. Not to be fear based, but to be aware about things. So the whole thing with having a social passport, like certain people are allowed into the new internet, certain people aren't. I mean, I think even by the end of this year, we're going to start to see that kind of delineations that are going on. But as I've been saying for a while now, I'm seeing two different societies evolving. One of the parameters that I was seeing was about vaccinations, and certain people are resisting and other people are getting it. But I think it's going to go more into this whole thing about people that want to basically keep developing their spirituality. They don't want to be interfaced with all this technology and the possible risks involved with it. Like I said, it's going to be very tempting. Like people are going to experience things that are just going to be like mind blowing. I mean, the potential is amazing, but again, corruption is a thing. Lust for power is a thing. We've seen that all of our lives, and then some. So I'm seeing that, and I do believe that there's going to be kind of an underground internet that will develop for people that don't want to be part of this whole like system of programming, and it's really de-evolutionizing, really, and we're seeing that with young people that are not really developing themselves. They're more hooked up with the cell phones and the computer games and stuff like that. So this has the potential to be very de-evolutionizing, and there's people that are going to resist that are not going to want a part of that, and then people that are just going along with the program, doing what they're told, and then others that don't feel like this is a good thing, but they wind up getting tempted by it, and there'll be a lot of programming around that. So that's just something that we're going to hear more and more of. In the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing more and more about that. So I wanted to talk about that, and I'm just going to peek at your comments about that. So no effing way. Thank you. Yeah, I believe that. Can't wait for it. Yeah, yeah. Again, the potential for it to be an amazing thing is there, but that's it. So let me go to topic number two now. Last week we spent over an hour on tarot time. I'm going to try to condense that a little bit today, and that, of course, unless you've really been doing an amazing job shutting yourself off, you're aware of baby formula shortages and food shortages. Now, of course, we started hearing about that in January. It's not a brand new thing. Even the White House addressed it and kind of shrugged it off. And this is unofficial and unsubstantiated, but I've seen things coming up on the internet showing you have shelves filled with baby formula ready for export, to Mexico, they were saying, or places like that. Meanwhile, the domestic use, the shelves are empty. I mean, again, I I'm I think there's some truth to that, but again, this is unsubstantiated. So, you know, we have seen your food storage places being burned down. We have seen supplies being held up. We've seen, and of course, I have no opinion one way or another. I don't, we don't do conspiracy theories on the Medium channel, of course. But for what we've been seeing, and we need to, use our minds and be observant and make our own assessments based upon the evidence presented. But we've been seeing stuff like this. Now they've coming up with an invention. You may have heard of it. It's called biomilk with I believe with a Q at the end, and it's to basically if science has answered to breastfeeding, to breast milk, that they claiming that they can duplicate breast milk and stuff like that. Now, when talking about food shortages and talking about baby formula shortages, and then you can even go back and talking about the vaccination programs and everything. The interesting thing is, and again, I'm not making any judgments about it or telling anybody what to think, but one thing that is known is that Bill Gates, yes, we remember who Bill Gates is, right? He's the biggest landowner in the U.S. now, from what I've seen from different sources. He bought up a lot of the farming land in his organization. Um, he was a big, if not the biggest investor in vaccination programs. And in fact, next to the USA, is the biggest shareholder in the WHO. Now, as it goes to show, Bill Gates also has money tied up with this whole like freaks they call biomilk, and again, this is what is. I don't know why. This is just what I'm seeing basically. So in the meantime, when this is going on, you know, there's babies that are going hungry. I mean, this is like beyond despicable, right? And one older celebrity was suggesting more women to breastfeed, which of course is a great idea, but it doesn't really take into account that some women just can't breastfeed and some babies have special needs and needs special formulas, and they're not able to find that. And again, I'm in the Hudson Valley of New York. It's a fairly affluent area. I'm not seeing this as much as maybe places in Arkansas or Texas, or places that are on a lower economic level. And of course, minority neighborhoods also tend to get hit the hardest. Is this a coincidence? I don't know, but this is what's happening basically. So you know and to say, now I'm talking about breastfeeding, a lot of what's going on is it really an attack on consciousness, and an attempt to dehumanize. And they had done studies way back saying that the formulas can be duplicated, like breast milk can be duplicated. Of course, the the companies that make the formula were the major funders of these studies, just like interest in the vaccination programs were major funders of research into vaccination. It's funny how that works out. Maybe it's a coincidence, but in any event, breast milk is amazing. And I don't know if Janice is on, but she would appreciate this, because when we had Odin, he was born in 1999. We did a lot of research, and we went to birthing classes and everything. Beautiful center. I don't think it's in New York City anymore. It's called the Elizabeth Seton Center, but I think they closed down since. I learned a lot, and basically, this is like breastfeeding is like an intuitive bonding. It's like the epitome of like the human experience, and the bond between mother and child. And the breast milk changes as the baby's needs change. Sometimes on a daily basis, the flavors change. And they're coming out, oh, we got this bio milk. It's just like breast milk, the same thing. It's like, except the fact that there's no intuitive connection. There's no human bond there. It's all comes from a factory. So again, this is not new. It's just been ramping up lately, but we must be aware that there is an apparent attack on consciousness and human evolution that's happening. And if we examine that further and see who could potentially benefit from us staying in the dark, we could understand where conspiracy theories come from, and why they happen. Whether they're true or not, I'm not going to get into that now. But if you look at things and look at the evidence, it's clear that there's no transparency, and it's clear that things are happening, and profit is taken at a higher measure than basic human needs, and basic basic humanity. We're seeing this. It's not a conspiracy theory. We're actually seeing this, and we've been seeing this for a long time. It's just been getting more and more so. And the third thing I wanted to talk about is the new normal. And if you haven't seen, we're going to start to see commercials think to the effect, we can go out again, we can go to restaurants, we can travel, we can do this, but we must keep it that way. And then the logo for the vaccines comes on the bottom. Now, I've talked about this before. We're all subject to programming, language programs. The subconscious mind is for our survival primarily, and it's programmable. Either we program it or society does it for us. The word normal has a resonance in the subconscious of survival, because what we perceive as predictable and regular is survivable. if something's unpredictable, then our survival instinct kicks in, like there's a possible threat. So if you hear normal, it's natural to relax, like normal, yes, yes, I'll do anything for a new normal or whatever. So heads up with that. And again, as far as vaccines go, I don't have an opinion one way or another. My feeling is, if for you, if the potential benefits outweigh the potential risks, to do the vaccine. If not, don't do it. But make your decisions with your safety and the safety of others in mind. That's my only thing about that. Other than that, we should have free will. We should have choices. And the fact that certain research, it's not being made available to us, that can validate that the need. Well, I'll put it this way: that there are other measures that could have been taken, that can be taken, that don't involve vaccines. So that there's other alternatives, and it's been researched. It's known that there's other alternatives, and also it's also known that certain ethnic groups may have a much higher natural resistance to the virus than others, suggesting that maybe not every ethnic group even needs a vaccine. So, and again, I use the word need loosely. So again, this is just what's out there. This is what's in the news. It's not like, I'm trying to change anybody's mind or be subversive against society or anything like that. This is just what's happening. This is what's going on. So there's other things, I'm sure, but these are the things that came to my mind this morning. But the point being is that we saw it through our readings that more was about to happen. Now Mercury's in retrograde now. We have a big eclipse coming up tonight. Join us at 7. We're going to do some channeling. If you haven't met my guides that do the energy activations through me, it's an experience that you will probably get a lot out of, and more often than not, people actually feel changes as the energy starts to pick up, and sometimes people have crown chakra openings. The Scorpio full moon, the flower moon, it's a super moon and a total eclipse, so it's really focusing that Scorpio energy, that transformative, transmutative, is that even a word? Transmutative energy. I don't think that's a word. Evolutionary energy is focused on us now. And eclipses, astrologers say about 6 months. I mean, I think at least 2 or 3 months, we still feel the effects of it. So we're going to get hit with this really intense scorpionic energy. This is evolution. This is like death and rebirth energy. And there's other aspects. Neptune comes into play. Uranus comes into play. Um, Long and the short of it is very evolutionary. This is an ideal time to do a supercharged energy transmission to help to activate new DNA codes. That's what we're going to do, and to assist in your next step of your evolution. So this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a powerful one. It's going to be 7 o'clock tonight. Tarot time. Yes. Right. It's tarot time. I should be looking at tarot cards, right? Anyway, I just want to peek at your comments for a second. No, an entity triangle. I definitely sold that. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's sad. Or blood type. Yep, blood type may make it matter. Anyway, thank you, Susan, for that. I'll be there. Great. Yeah. And we'll share with the collective. So the more people that come, the stronger it is for everybody. So, this is the time for awakening, everything in balance. Instead of leaning more towards being taken over by technology, we need to do the opposite and get out into nature and start to feel energy and start to get that restorative energy that's available to us, that nature or God or spirit gives so freely to us. And all we need to do is open our hearts and open our vehicles to accept it, basically. So a lot of programming, a lot of reprogramming is necessary. So here on the Medium channel, we do that. Yes, the Medium channel is about mediumship, but it's the spirituality behind the message. So we dive into everything that's behind what I practice as part of being a professional medium. And to me, being a medium is a 24/7 spiritual practice that involves sleep programming. It involves a morning routine. It involves special breath exercises. It involves a lot of stuff. It involves a lot of spiritual clearing and cleansing. so that I don't hold on to energies from other people. I'm not worried about the spirits. They're not going to bother me because I know how to shield them if God forbid if a negative spirit ever comes through in a reading. It's the energy from the people, and that's what I need to clear, because I'm very empathic, so I feel and energy and this can happen when you go to a supermarket. You can pick up somebody's bad vibes, and it can start to resonate in your own energy field. So doing your energy clearing is important, especially when there's all this control energy like that's trying to really work against our what we know as spirit. And that's where a lot of inner conflict comes in. And yeah, people are talking about, yeah, technology is great. And again, I have nothing against technology. I think potentially it's great. Or modern medicine is great. More people are living past 100 and all that. And that's all fine and good. But most of those people that are living past 100 are living in nursing homes and on machines and aren't healthy and aren't really enjoying their lives. And on the other side of the coin, the suicide rate has never been higher. Drug addiction has never been higher. And the level of unhappiness and in the society has never been higher. But if we can reclaim our spirit, see, I'll have my ups and downs emotionally, of course, um, but I'm a happy person. There's a lot going on. I'm semi isolated, and I'm one of the happiest people that I know, because I own my spirit and I celebrate my life every day. And part of my morning routine is like, thank you. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to die. If it's my time to die today, thank you for my life. That's how I live my life, in the present moment. Yeah, learning from the past, preparing for the future, but being in the now, basically. So as things get hotter and heavier, we need to really reestablish that connection to nature, because that's going to help us to reestablish the connection with our own soul. So on that note, I'm going to do a meditation card. Yeah, I just saw the Tower card just pop right out as I was mixing them up. So the Tower card, key 16, and the tower does have to fall so it can be rebuilt, basically. Nobody said from Revelations in the Bible, the Nostradamus to Edgar Casey, nobody ever said that the earth changes and the awakening was going to be an easy process. We signed up for this, and we have to be aware and prepared for challenge and be able to meet those challenges. And can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself, or if you're allowing others to program you or to dictate what you're going to do and how you're going to take care of yourself and how you're going to live your life, basically. Again, be true to yourself and considerate of others, but that's basically what I have to say about all that. So happy Sunday. It's a great day to be alive. It's very summer-like this week here in the beautiful Catskill Mountains of New York. We're going to possibly have some isolated tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds tomorrow. So we'll see if my weather magic holds out for yet another storm and the severe weather goes around me again. Every now and then it doesn't. I think that's spirit's way of saying you can't control the weather. You may be able to influence it to some degree. You can't control it. Anyhow, but you know what? We're influencing the weather right now because we're energy, and weather is energy, and weather happens as a response to how the earth gets heated, and it changes as human activity changes because of different levels of CO2 and methane and stuff like that. Kind of putting a little bit of spike in the natural warming cycle of the planet. Temporary spike, but troubling for people that have to endure the 30 to 40% increase of droughts, floods, severe weather, and whatnot. Anyhow, that said, love and light. We are about love and light, but we're also realists here, and we're warriors. So, sometimes as a warrior, you have to be aware. You always have to assess the playing field and come up with the right strategy. That's part of warriorship. It's not about kicking ass or beating people up or even going into war. It's about having that presence of mind and that awareness to be able, to live our lives the way that we choose to help others grow and to be able to defend our rights and defend ourselves if we need to, basically. So this is the card they want for us. Nice. I like this because it's a journey card. It's the Eight of Cups. If you're not seeing this through the reflection, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. So the idea is when you get nice and relaxed. So of course, when we meditate, we get relaxed and we get present in the moment with our breath. That's how we enter into a meditative state. And by doing that, the next step is you step into the card. So if you have your own deck, you can use the image in your deck. If not, you can kind of take a mental snapshot of the Eight of Cups in the Hanson Roberts deck, and you step into the card. And in this case, I would say, look all around because, again, we only see a small percentage of the whole panoramic scene in this card. But journey with this figure. This is a spirit guide, so journey with this figure. So I'm glad that I pulled this card because it's very, because the meaning about it's leaving like something established in your life for something higher and greater, whether that's on the spiritual level or material level. Again, if it comes up in the reading, that would depend on the circumstances and everything. But um, but journey with him. See where you go. See where you travel in your meditation. That's the meditation cards. Let me circle back. Just look at your comments for a second. Thank you for that, Sarah. Cat Kingdom. Cat Kingdom. Did I miss something? Cat Kingdom. I love cats, but did I miss something? Quality of life matters. Thank you, Doreen. Children's School of Yoga. I don't know. We have to plan our next class because the last Sunday's Memorial Day weekend. But Doreen will be back. So Joanne saying here in the Southwest we can manifest the rain. We needed. We need to get some of the Native American elders together to help to manifest the rain. I mean, when Native Americans or Indigenous Americans, I think is the more politically correct term now. I mean, they call themselves Indians. So I don't know, but respect, for the elders of this land. But when they did their rain dances, it would rain. I mean, not every single time, of course, but it would work. And the way they would do that and the way that they pray, which is the way we should all be praying, is it's not like, oh God, please give me rain. It's dry here. There's fires, all that. But rather they'll go into a deeper state and they'll feel the rain hitting their body. They'll smell the rain. They'll be part of the rain. They'll be one with it, and they'll thank Great Spirit. They'll thank the Creator for all this nourishing rain hitting the land as if it's already happening. And that's the way to do it because that's energetic praying. You're kind of aligning your consciousness, your will with divine will, and seeing if you can create a match to create a certain outcome, basically, is how that works. So thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. Yes. Adam, be aware and prepared. Yeah, exactly. So let's do 3 cards now and just kind of see if we can get a little snapshot into either what's going on with us in our community or what's going on in the great wide world community out there for this coming week. We know we have a powerful eclipse. Saturn in middle of Aquarius is crossing that. Oh well, our old friend the Tower is back. Imagine that. And it popped out at me when I was mixing the cards up earlier. What we have here is the eight of swords. Let me do this in a way you can actually, please. So you can see how technologically advanced that I am. I'm not I'm not likely to go into the metaverse anytime soon. So we have the Eight of Swords, the Two of Cups, and the Tower card here. So those are the three cards. Um, it's interesting because this is about restrictions. It's about blowing it all up and rebuilding, but in the middle is a meeting. And I feel like this is really saying, let's continue to connect with one another, like-minded people. This is part of the whole shift of consciousness. um, we're awakening, and this is all happening, like on some level, going to a different perspective on what's going on in the world. In some level, like we created this whole good versus evil and all this oppression as part of our awakening. And from the perspective of being in a human body, I'll look at that and be like, there's a war on consciousness. They're trying to prevent it, but on some level, we created all this, and we're meant to learn, grow, and evolve through this process. So, if things really get heavy, again, we're seeing food shortages already. God, I saw something on the news. It was sarcastic about mothers hoarding formula being blamed for the shortages. It's like, come on, really? Um, if if I have a baby and we're not breastfeeding, if we can't breastfeed, and I have a baby, and I'm here catching wind that there might be food shortages for my baby, I'm gonna hoard freaking formula. We do what we need to do to survive. But anyway, that's not even the problem. But anyhow, I can't drink my tea fast enough. Something pretty big is in the works. I don't know. Let me try to study this because I don't know what this is trying to tell me. One of the things it's saying is really try to work through fears, or try to get to that point where if you feel fear and anxiety, it's not going to paralyze you or stop you. We're going to feel fear. It's hormones in the body, and depending on our programming, things that certain things that come up on the news, or certain things that come up with each other, or certain things that we see can elicit that fight or flight response in the body. That's what fear basically is. And so what we need to do, no matter how intense our emotions get, we need to learn how to step out of that, and be the observer of it, rather than being trapped in our own emotions, and kind of blindly following that program. When we step out of it, and I'm not suggesting that you try to squash your emotions, because you have probably as good a luck trying to stop the earth from turning, doing that. It's chemicals in the body, it's hormones. So you're going to feel what you're going to feel, but the way you respond to it, that's where you have a choice over. And it's easier said than done, but it's absolutely necessary to learn how to be present enough that when you react to something, you can realize that you're reacting, step out of that, and observe it in action. And if you do that habitually, then the source of your programming starts to become more relevant, and the way to get past that and through that starts to become more known. It all starts with awareness. And again, all the stimulus, one news thing after another. As soon as people think they're getting a handle on one thing, they throw something else out, basically. So it's all there to kind of keep us from really being sovereign, and really, I don't know if sovereign's the right word, but being in our power, and being in our spirit, and in our center and everything. So do a lot of grounding. When this Tower card comes up, things fall because the foundation's not strong enough. That's generally why things fall. There's a big energetic storm coming in society. We want to be like the oaks that have the deep root systems that withstand the storms, rather than the white pines that have shallow root systems, and the wind will just blow them down, basically. So, check out some of my videos on psychic self-defense and things like that, and how to stay safe, basically. There's a lot of technique work, shadow work, integration. All that stuff is really relevant right now. Um, so I don't know what this is exactly trying to tell me. And frankly, I always get the flavor of things, and I always get timing, like something's going to happen. But when it happens, it's usually not what I think is going to happen. It's usually something else that basically amounts to the same thing. So I mean, yeah, I'm first and foremost a medium, and I apply my psychic abilities to helping people. There's other psychics that are better at getting what is it, like visions of the future, or what's it called, precognitions and stuff like that about what's going on in society. Still, this has the feeling of more war, more strife, more conflict, maybe some earthquakes. This tower card is what's the rulership of the tower card? Geez, I should know this. I can't remember. Is it Mars, or it might be Mars? I'm gonna have to look that up. I should. I mean, I've studied all this stuff. I do know tarot. I promise I do, but I think it's Mars. But then, anyways, and that could be where I might be sensing. This could represent some new wars or some new involvement or stuff like that as well. I mean, again, with Ukraine, there's other wars going on in the world, but there's a choice on from being in the West or the U.S. or whatever. There's a choice of how we can handle it, and basically, it's more like fueling a bonfire than trying to put out a fire. From where I'm sitting, the way things are being handled and dealt with, and of course, the poor babies, they can't get their food. People are dying and suffering as a result of this. But follow the money, follow the corrupt flow of power. You'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on, why it's happening, and what we need to do to prevent it. But of course, we as individuals can't prevent what's going on in the world. We can only affect our own energy, but by doing that, we have an influence on everything. So there's this little thing called the observer effect in quantum physics that shows on a quantum level the subatomic particles will behave differently if there's an observer versus if there's not an observer, which to me is fascinating, because whatever happens inside the atom is going to happen outside the atom and in macro reality sooner or later. So what we see, what we perceive, and our energy actually does affect what happens in physical matter, because physical matter is 99.99999% energy and only 1% matter, as is proven through the structure of the atom. And I'm not gonna. Often, at this point, I interject my chemistry 101, but I'm not going to do that today. Explanation of the atom and the empty space and all. My regulars know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, but you know what? The thing is, the Two of Cups, which is a really, really happy card, is right in the middle of the Eight of Swords. There's a woman tied up. She's blindfolded. She's not seeing. She's not able to move. These swords, swords are the mind, their thoughts, like the programming, like the fears, are keeping people locked. They're keeping people tied up to these swords, basically. And, you know, the rubber band is being stretched and stretched to a point it's got to burst at some point, because, people that are not going to go along with the program are not going to go along with it. And quite the opposite. People are awakening, and more people are seeing through all this, through having spiritual awakening, through being aware of energy and starting to understand who we truly are as spirit versus the illusion of who we are in a very temporary physical life. More that happens, the more you see through the illusion. When I had my awakening in 1979, it was a flash. That was the first thing that happened. And it's like I was riding my bike, and I even said out loud, everything I've learned up until now is a complete lie. I need to learn the truth. I was like a college student with my whole life mapped out. That didn't go so well. Well, it did, but not in the eyes of my parents, certainly, and people that think, you need to do well in college or whatever. I didn't do so well in college because I didn't drop out. I did graduate. I did pass, but anyway, that you get the idea. So what else? But yeah, back to the Two of Cups. Get together, formulate bonds with other people, like-minded people. That's why Spirit had me start this channel, and kind of forced me to basically overcome my fear of being on camera and public performing, all that stuff. So I reprogrammed my mind to be able to actually be here and to do this with you today. 2 years ago, I would have been a deer in the headlights, and it wouldn't have happened. So things happen for a reason. So it's all about growth. But thing is to connect with those. Now, another thing that's maybe showing, some of you may be breaking up with your longtime partners, or leaving a job or a business, or just kind of thinking about ways of how to live off the grid, or how to separate from the mainstream society. So I think this is all doing this. Two sometimes divide, so be aware of the division. I mean, the Two of Cups are coming together, obviously, if you look at the symbolism of the card. And the line here, we're in an 11 universal month right now. May, the month of May is an 11, and that's the lion's muzzle with clenched fist in Chaldean numerology. So the line is about overcoming the lower forces and the lower nature. So it's kind of the lion here. I think that's a lion. Yep, it's a lion with angel wings. Angel lion is bringing these two people together, but they're joining at the head. It's like a meeting of the minds, basically, or at least that's what I'm seeing today in the imagery of this card. And that's one of the beautiful things about tarot. Like every reading, I'll see something different in the card, because it's an intuitive process, but it has a basis in fundamental intellectual knowledge also. So it kind of taps into both realities, so to speak. Now, also, we have a private platform on Patreon called Spirit Mind Family. That's where I can dive deeper and really talk about things that could get me censored here on YouTube. Um, it's go to Patreon, look up Spirit Mind Family, check it out. If you like it, it's $5 per month membership. It's a member support group, but that's our inner core now, when we can get together twice a month to just talk about things that are going on. And then I have free meditate, well, free once you donate the money, but I should say meditation and videos and content that I don't share anywhere else in the world, but on Spirit Mind Family, as my way of saying thank you for supporting me and my channel and this work. So I don't have that in the live chat, but I'll leave the link in the comments when this becomes a video for that. So I think we get the idea of that. Again, I think there's just a lot to talk about lately, because these sessions have been running really, really long lately. So anyhow, thanks for people that stick it out till the end also. All right, so quick comments check. Yeah, thank you, Susan. Yes. Thank you, Linda, for confirming Mars. Yes, with that. Build, protect, awareness. Yes. A Patreon. I did the control room and heart health meditations this morning. A lot of great info. My pleasure. Yes. We are here to serve spirit, and part of serving spirit, serving each other for sure. And it's like, if I stop sharing, spirit stops giving. So, we're all, to greater or lesser degree egocentric at times. So that would be my selfish reason. Obviously, I want to be supported financially with my work, but more than that, it's like, if the more that I share, the more spirit gives, basically, sort of how it works. So anyhow, I see the card they want me to pull already, so I don't even have to do this. And warrior of this. So it's interesting. We're talking about warriors, and we got a warrior. Well, this warrior looks not dejected. What's he doing? What I'm seeing in this card is that the warrior is kind of looking at, that he's at the ledge, wondering, kind of looking down, a little bit dejected. How am I going to get down there? How am I going to get that river? But he's not seeing that little bird. I don't know if you can see that little bird. He's not looking at that little bird above. He's looking below, basically. And I think the message for us here is, if we look too long and hard at the world, we're just going to get really demoralized by it. And we're going to ignore the bird. Birds represent spirit, or messages from spirit. We're going to start ignoring that. And rather than that, we have to look to the sky, because perhaps this bird has the answer of how this warrior is going to get back on his track and back, back into the meandering river and everything. So, this message supports this message, and that's how it works. Virtual, yeah, it's all opposite land and Patreon. So, and the other thing is, I get a real loner feeling from this card, and yeah, I'm pretty much a lone wolf at heart. I mean, I have plenty of friends, although not local ones. Hawaii and Long Island. Those are where my best friends are right now. But um, I don't know. My microphone went off, so I don't know. My sound is okay, right? Okay. Bird's eye viewpoint. That's a good perspective, also. Thank you. Yes, you Adam. This was a great one today. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. So anyway, so we get the idea. So let's move right along. I know it's getting late and all. And so I'm sticking with the medicine cards again for another week. I've been really digging the energy of these cards. I mean, I have another animal oracle deck that I use sometimes also. Let's see what the wisdom of the animals, since it's indigenous American, these are going to really be animals in North America, obviously. So the advantage usually the other one is you can get zebras and lemus and, or emus and or whatever. Okay, this is the one. Antelope. This is a first for this one. Antelopes. I mean, I'm seeing strength but gracefulness when I look at the antelope, and kind of almost like a feminine vibe. Oh, my screen is going wacko again. All right, so maybe the lords of the internet are getting upset with me or something. I don't know. My screen's going all wacko. Um, anyways, but since nobody's telling me they can't hear me, I think we're good. So let me look up what the book meaning of this card is, because I don't these I definitely don't have memorized. Now it's key 37. That's one. So that's a solar ruled energy. So the sun, is playing some role in the meaning of this card. And we're 16, 20, where are we? Lizard 36. Okay. Oh, antelope's about action. Okay, well, that's a good message. We've been talking for a good while. I mean, food shortages have been the thing for a while. They've been ebbing and flowing. So I think they're saying, action, yeah, I think we're getting to the point we need to make a choice if we haven't already. Are we going to kind of follow with the whole plan with technology and interfacing and all that, or are we going to really go more into more into a soul spirit direction, or more, or maybe that's not the right way of putting it, but not getting too involved with this interfacing and all this stuff, but rather I think the spirit saying it's okay to say rather than that, focusing on your own spiritual growth. I've said this before, but natives used to be able to communicate telepathically, either through arrangement of a time where the elders were both going to meditation and communicate that way, or finding what's called wind tunnels, or there's certain points in nature that link to another point. And so every now and then, like, there's stories that I think there's a Twilight Zone about it, where a boy discovers this and starts talking to somebody, and it turns out the person's like 200 or 300 miles away, but they find the spot on the earth where those locations link and they can actually talk to each other. So, when we start to come up with telephones or whatever, it kind of makes the brain softer. We don't need to be telepathic anymore. We start to lose those abilities. So God knows what's going to happen if artificial intelligence does everything for us and solves our problems for us and interfaces with their own brain, so we become part computer, part human. It's like, what's going to happen to us? What other abilities are going to be sacrificed? What other aspects of our health are going to be sacrificed? So these are things to keep in mind. So I think the action, the energy of action is coming up, saying, we kind of need to look at this as a yeah, I'd say it's tipped from possible to probable reality at this point. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And think about it. Like, maybe you may want to find more of a community to live, or or whatever. Like I'm still really gearing up to, unless Spirit shows me another area, to Hawaii and the Big Island is where I'm drawn to still. So these are things to think about. So one last card, if I brought my angel cards out. If not, oh, here they are. If I don't have my angel cards, I'll just get an angel message from Spirit. But I like the cards. Um, so anyhow, lonely feeling time. Yeah, thing is, remember, we're never alone, and I'm here in the Catskills. I mean, I see people from time to time, but most of my days I'm by myself. I'm single. I've been single for a while. I'm happily single. I'll throw that out there. Um, been on my own for the whole pandemic. Seeing people from time to time, once or twice a week, for reading. Every now and then I'll meet a friend and go for a walk or whatever. But for the most part, I'm here, but I'm never alone. The spirit is always with me, and I always feel like the presence of the divine and the presence of nature. So we're not alone. But anyhow, that's not the card. Okay, where do I want to go, Spirit? This way. Okay, this is the card, and we got Adriana. This is Doreen Virtue's Messengers of the Angel card. We got Adriana. And she says, I am leading you towards the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps I am communicating through your intuition, thoughts, and dreams. And that last sentence is what's getting my attention. Spirit will always be working with us to point us in the direction of our truths. They don't give us answers because the self-discovery is the growth. So they're not going to take that opportunity from us, but they're going to lead us in the direction to find our own truths. What we need to do is learn how to get all this other stuff out of our conscious, out of our brain, and learn how to be present with ourselves, with our breath. And that's how we start to become present with Spirit. And that's what's going to help to activate your intuition. And the other part of that is people on the outside will always question things or always try to talk you out of something or psych you out of something or make you believe it's the wrong idea. I mean, my feeling is, not to shut other people off, because sometimes Spirit can speak through other people also. So we need to be open to what people are saying, but we have to be in our hearts and our presence to be able to discern what is fear-based or how people are programmed and are acting out their programming and kind of interfere with our plan, versus if somebody's actually being activated by Spirit and giving us a message. But when you do your meditation, when you do that enough, when you're able to be present enough, you can feel the difference between it's very palpable. When Spirit's coming through, it's very uplifting, joy, gratitude. These are the things you feel, goosebumps, elation, and stuff like that. With the other way, it's usually anxiety or foreboding or stuff like that. So there's ways to know. So anyway, that's the message I have. That's what we have for you today. 7 o'clock tonight, channeling with my guides that work with me. The master guides and Archangel Michael's going to work with us. It's going to be just hours before the eclipse. So that's going to prepare us and set our energy for the massive shift that's coming with the energy of this eclipse and everything else that's going on. So this is going to be a big reset and a big activation and a DNA awakening. So it's really going to this is going to be a good one. Kind of get us to our next level, or help us to discover how to get to our next level. So anyway, you're welcome, Ro. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We'll keep praying. We'll say prayers for your 15-year-old that he's protected and really finds his connection with family again and everything. Yeah. All right. So lots of love. I know we've been an hour, of course. So I'm gonna end now, and thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time. Lots of love.